live right now over on the Future Projects channel, but there were some technical difficulties, so we're just going to move it over to here. So we're on my channel, but it's not my show. Hello. I should probably turn this up a little brighter. Ooh, not that slow. Yes. Hi, everyone. How you doing? Hello. Thank you so much. Who's here? Ooh, my hair's a mess. My hair's an absolute mess. The workroom and birth, somebody and Tiago and burnt my hot pocket. Oh, I've been there before. Sweet live to you. Ken 23, Ayo, Roro, Amor Evanche, Diva Ferox. Oh my gosh. Lots of people here. Okay, so hi everyone. It looks like the Future Project is here. I'm going to talk to them about everything. All right.
Hello.
Hello, gorgeous. Hi.
Thank you so much for working with us on this through the technical difficulties. I got a frog in my throat. I'm like,
it's all good.
Mercury is retrograde. Mercury is
retrograde. Oh no! Don't say it. Don't speak it into existence, darling.
No. But we're working through. We are processing one day at a time.
Yeah, we roll with the punches.
Hello, my name is Z. A pleasure to
Hi, Z. What are your pronouns, Z?
My pronouns are they, them, and yours?
She, her. Hi.
Hey, girl. So just so you know, the Future Perfect Project is a grant-based organization through the Windwriter organization. And we believe that the self-expression of LGBTQ plus teens and allies is a declaration of a better future for us all. And we're so grateful that you were willing to have a conversation with us tonight. I'm gagged because I get to like be with you in this cyber world and just talk to you about life and how we can help these young people and engage them and have them work with us and in our workshops. So I'll just jump right in. Does that sound like fun?
Yeah, I want to say hi to Six and to Sandra Jennings, who's here. Hi. Okay, and everyone else.
Yes. I know folks are coming over from all wall because they're so excited to meet you. We've been talking about you, and everyone's gagged. I'm getting over my like excitement and joy to finally be meeting you. So I'll like ease into it. I'll like find the flow. I'm Latino, so I'll be like, I'll get suave at some point. You know, it'll.
It's all good, baby.
I love you. So, oh my God. So you started theater from a very young age, right? At Opera Delaware, and you're doing it in high school, and yeah, you've been at it for.
You do your research, darling. My word.
I want to get to know you. I really do. Intimacy. That's intimacy. Into me, I see, right? Intimacy, and I just am grateful for this intimate moment with you, so that we can, you know, just share more truth, because I feel like the more queerness out in the world is a better place for us all, right? The more we're seen, the better.
That is true.
And you have been seen since you were a very young theater artist. And can you talk to us about how that experience in youth theater, working at Opera Delaware, in your high school, what was that like, and how's that informed yourself as a performer?
I mean, that's so much. I think getting comfortable doing theater and drama club and choir and band and all of those things really gave me, it just kind of confirmed my love for sort of organized theatrics, because I'd always been like a show off at the dinner table. But, you know, having to like be in rehearsals after school and learning, you know, something and, you know, sort of having a little bit of discipline applied to it was, that showed me a little bit more of a path that was possible. It wasn't until much later that I, you know, really was able to get in was able to think of theater as like a career or, and so that was much later as an adult. A couple, like even right before that moment, I decided to go to musical theater college. And so, that all came later. But just my favorite thing was if I can like dance around and like prance around in front of people, then I'm good to go.
Yes, I can relate. I wasn't a cheerleader like you, but I did get involved. I was my school's, I won the Supreme
Mascot?
School Spirit. So I feel like
Okay.
on the cheerleading end of things, I'm on the same page with you. I'm so,
Yeah.
so moved by that because I realize so many of these young people are looking for outlets in their high schools, in their communities, and the drama club, the theater is often the place that we find that love and that embrace. So what would you say to other young trans actors who are looking to pursue or
I think do it. I think the more of us that they see and the more of us that they see showing up for the auditions and all of those things, the less likely they will be to say, oh, well, I don't know any talented trans people, so we couldn't put any in a show. Or we didn't write any parts for anyone because they don't exist. And that's the mess that they were trying to say like a couple of years ago when there was more controversy over, should this cisgender actor play a trans role or should this straight actor play a gay role? And, when when folks from the community would kind of speak up and say, no, we don't think so, the pushback and the conversation in some circles was, oh, there are no trans actors, so we don't have, and so obviously we know that's not true. But so if you provide an opportunity for people, then they will show up. And so I think anyone who's thinking about it, just get ahead and do it, honey. People have been trailblazers and people have worked their behinds off and been the only ones in the room. And so now but we can't allow it just to be like one person because then it's tokenism. And we haven't really gotten anywhere. So we need more people to show up. I say flood those auditions. Anywhere you don't see a trans person, I need 1,000 of them to show up.
Yes. I'm running for my board of education in my hometown, and I'm recognizing, like you, there's that impetus to inspire other young people. I'm wondering, to what you said about trailblazers, have there been any particular artists or figures in your life that you feel you have impacted you in a way that have called you to work in theater or as a music artist? Because I know that your album just dropped on Friday, which I'm so excited to have a conversation about. I got to listen to it and it's so beautiful. The work is, the interludes to the songs are also powerful. There's again, that intimacy. I was like, oh my God, there's so much love that you have to offer and that you're giving in that work. So I'm wondering if there are any role models for you or trailblazers that have been particular to you in even in your devising of this most recent album.
Well, there's definitely people who have inspired me. I can't necessarily say that there's a lot of queer and trans people who've been role models all my life that inspired me from a young age. I didn't really have access, and we have the internet in a way that we didn't have it. We didn't have the internet when I was a kid. We just didn't have the internet. And so, finding each other was much more difficult. We would have never been able to do something like this. But this talk. But I do remember seeing, I've been inspired by like folks like Janet Jackson. And she's really someone who I modeled, who I was really heavily inspired by when writing this album. I wanted to, I just remember how successful getting the point across was in the way that she presented the album, her albums. I think the one that so closely really kind of resonates with me is the album Janet. That's the one that like If and That's the Way That Goes are on, if anybody knows those songs.
Yes.
And so I knew I wanted to have like the same feeling with the interludes, and I just thought that was a really lovely and pleasant way to kind of get the point fully across. but there certainly are lots of queer people who I absolutely admire to this day, who I think are just amazing. And so, and they're the same people that are out on the interwebs and working in so many fields, whether it's in activism or entertainment or like law or, like just like all these areas that we're seeing, trans violinist, uh, you know, Tona, like there's so many different people who are, doing their thing as out trans people and the queer people today that we wouldn't have seen back in the day. So I'm hopeful that the younger generations obviously have some inspiration. Yeah.
Yes. How beautiful I'm recognizing more and more is that they have people like Miss Peppermint. They have you. This beautiful inspiration. And the thing is, you're not my experience of you and your work has not been just of like a show person. It's been very much of like a joy person. Like wherever you go, my colleagues who have worked with you before have only spoken to the joy that you bring, right? The like with, there's like, you can be a diva, right? And no one can teach you to be the diva that you need to be, but just the same can be said to the love and the joy that you bring to a room. And I'm wondering if you could talk to me about the first time in your life you feel like you were able to exercise agency, when you did something not because someone else told you to do it, because mom, dad, your teachers, your friends, but where you felt that you did it because it pleased you.
To a degree, I think I felt like aside from like, your mom saying you have to we're going to the store, you're coming, or you have to go to school. Like, obviously I followed directions in that way, but I always had a really developed sense of my identity as an individual. There was a lot of people who I think, and I'm not alone when I say that I was ostracized so much that I knew I was an individual, right? I never felt the pressure to follow the pack or any of that because the pack wasn't having me. And so I knew right away, I was like, oh, well, that's just me. I'm going to do, and obviously I had to do what my parents and family wanted me to do. And, in terms of going to school and, things like that, I wasn't like paying rent at the age of 8, but,
right.
But I did, I always felt like a bit of a sort of a loner and an individual quite early on.
I can feel you. I wore a lot of black in high school, and I listened to a lot of emo music. And I remember listening to this one album by Dashboard Confessional, and it was like, I'm in love, and she doesn't love me back. That was when I was, still so confused. But it's crazy that we evolve from those people, right? We grow into the person that we become, and the person that I recognize you becoming is this just, especially when we look at the work in your album, the love and the vulnerability, right, that you speak about. And it's sort of what we do in many ways at the Future Perfect Project. We have workshops twice a week now, all on Zoom, all for free. So please come and join us at the Future Perfect Project here on Instagram. Find out about your free programming that you can get involved with people and find a community just as you have. And I'm wondering if you can speak to us a little bit about the community that you've built of queer artists or people in general that you feel like what your chosen family is and what that's, what the bounds of that are, what that means to you, chosen family. Because in the queer community, a lot of us are not in touch with our given families, right? But that we find our chosen family. I wonder if you can speak to that and what your experience with one has been.
Yeah, I think chosen family is really just the solidification of you creating your own atmosphere, your own safety net, the people who understand you, the people who've shared some of the same experiences that you have shared. And I think for queer people, that is obviously can be life-saving. Like that's life-saving stuff to like take bricks of the people. That's bizarre, but taking sort of creating your own structure. And that's what I did when I was very, in a sort of state of mind where I was more anxious than I had ever been and more self I just had a lot more self-doubt and all of these things. And obviously those things are human feelings. So I'm not free of feeling that. But when I started my medical transition, I think is one of the times, and even before that, even before I'd come out as trans, I came out as trans before I started my medical transition, but even as a younger person, my first time coming out was at 12. And it was a very different world than it is now. And so what I did was I just one by one came out to my friends around me so that I knew that I had like people who were supportive. And that was great. And then when my mom was upset about me having come out, I didn't feel, even if I was going to get kicked out of the house or something, I felt like I wasn't alone because I had people that I knew that were supportive of me and had said, and so kind of the same thing happened again with when I came out as trans. Same thing, and I really just individually went to people and you know sort of confided in them and shared, and many of them like you know pledged their love even stronger. And I knew that these were loving people. That's why I went to them in the first place. But and so that's when I turn around now. That was me building my chosen family.
And you talk so so eloquently about love, particularly in this album that came out on Friday. Oh my God! Míralo. Eso, dale.
Famosa.
Yes, it's so well because it's you know there's so many layers to it, right? There's the intimate sexuality of it too, and then there's that like intimate gentleness and caressing that occurs throughout the album. And it's like my soul feels so taken care of while listening to it. And you're quoted saying, oh no, hold on, here it is. You say she doesn't take it from nobody. A girl like me knows how to live her truth in a girl like me. What has it been like for you to live your truth?
Well, at times it's been in the beginning. Personally, it was tough. You know, I mean, like all in all, I've had a good life. I think my family life was good. My growing up, I've heard some real, really terrible stories and things or stories of people's personal stories of terrible things they've had to go through. And hopefully, those are things that they will make them stronger, and I had to make them stronger, and myself included. And so I remember having certain experiences. I mean, there's some things like rejection and things from people in my close circle when I was younger. But then, really, you know, I was astounded, you know, living in a big city like New York, that when I started my medical transition, how much resistance I got at every turn. And I found myself having to sort of educate medical professionals. I mean, I'm not a doctor, and I'm telling them about, you know, hormone replacement therapy and just all these different things. And so I remember thinking, this is like, what is going on? Should it be this hard once you've made up your mind and you're ready to go? Now the doctor isn't going to, you know, and so that was always that was a surprise for me. But I got through it, and it's fine. And I found several new doctors. And so now that I look back, again, I really do think that all those things were character building and making me stronger, and to the point where I know more about myself, because I've had to kind of walk through those halls alone by myself, about myself, getting to know myself. Searching for the different things that were important to me that weren't quite easily presented, maybe as they are for other people. I don't know. But certainly the more adversity you face and the more you have to rely on and pull up other strengths that already exist in your body, in your being, in your soul, in your heart, then you end up create those things. Once you present them to yourself and you lock them in and you use them, then you have them. And now I have all of these strengths that I've amassed over the years that other people who haven't done that work, they don't know how to use those strengths.
I'm wondering how you would, because it's so powerful, how would you take that power and translate that to a young person who's, let's say, put ourselves in the shoes of someone who's 16 years old, trans, and closeted, and is just looking for a way to find their power, to find their voice, to find their truth. What would you say to them if they had the opportunity to sit across the table from you?
Hi, Miss Six. First of all, I want to say hi again to Miss Six. Call her Six down there.
Call her Six. Hi.
Listen, it's on one hand, it's everything that I just said, but on the other hand, there is one of the three most important, the three? Two or three most important things that I ever heard that I still rely on to this day are, there's no way to do this. There's no way to do this. You do it in your own way. That's how you do it. How does one do it? I know that when we're younger and at the beginning of our path and our journey, whether we're trans or queer or wherever we are, I think for a lot of us, like all kids, you're in a rush to become an adult. You're in a rush to get there. You don't want the journey. You just want to hurry up and get there. Especially folks who are trans and know that they've probably heard people saying, it gets better, it gets better. And now you're like, well, honey, let's get it better. And I don't want to have to do anything. But it really is all about that journey of getting to wherever it's going to go. And so there's no one way to be queer or gay or trans or bi or non-binary or whoever you are. You can present how you want, when you're ready. People might understand it and they don't. Who cares? They can. I don't know if we can curse. We can curse. We're on my thing. Fuck them.
Yeah, we can curse.
And so who cares about any of that stuff? The family will adjust. The kids, they'll adjust, darling. They will adjust. And if they don't adjust, guess what, honey? Oh, well. And so, there's no one way to be any of that. You don't have to pass if you're trans. You don't have to pass as cis if you're trans. Those things are about survival. And I understand that. And that is very important. That's a different conversation. But being quote unquote fish or femme, if you are a femme, if you identify as femme, who cares, honey? Like, just live your life and just do what you're going to do. And, the right people will come and support you, and the wrong ones will be judging you for what you're not. Mm-hmm. And that's how you know. They're signaling to you, I'm not worthy of being in your life because I can't even see who you really are because all I care is about where I want you to be. And so all those people that are trying to judge you and make you feel a certain way for the different, those people, you can move those people out your life. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. Second of all, there's just no rush. You are going to change. You are going to evolve. That is human nature. Everyone should be changing and evolving. And the ones who don't get left behind. And so you are, just understand that literally every single step that you take to get to wherever it is that you're going, whether it's one step or 1,000 steps, is going to make you're going to turn around and there's going to be nothing there. There is no finish line. There is no finish line. There's no prize at the end. You are the prize at the end. You just have to get to the end. That's it. And then one of the things that was really interesting when it comes to other people's opinions of us, a good girlfriend of mine mentioned to me she had been misgendered in a moment that was very sensitive to her, and she normally would have flew off the handle. And then in that moment, she decided to kind of be a little more great, go with grace. And she realized that her womanhood, her womanness, it just wasn't at stake because somebody decided to misgender her. You don't get it? Okay. And so it doesn't change who I am. I would have been the same person and I will be the same person before and after I met you. I am and was the same person before I ever had any surgeries. I am and was the same person before I had some hair on that you like. I don't care if you like my hair. I hope you do, but I don't care if you do because I'm the same person before and after, with or without my hair. I'm the same person before or after, with or without these things. And, I really do think that all of that judging is more about those other people, right? And so my womanhood is not at stake. And what I use, a little trick for me, for people who are like teenagers, if it's a safe situation for you. If you're in a situation where somebody misgenders you, just turn around and misgender them right back. Then they'll be like, oh, you know, that wakes them up. That's how I do it. It's fun.
Well, it's interesting to recognize just that aspect of waking up, right? That we're all waking up right now to what's going on in the world and in your music. You say a girl like me isn't always seen as equal, and sometimes no one at all. A lot of young people feel that way, and I'm wondering how you would translate that to them, or what it was like for you to write that lyric, and what that lyric means to you, and that might open up a door for one of our young people, or for the young people watching on your channel tonight too.
Well, I just wanted to be able to acknowledge that, you know, while we are worthy of love, and in the song, I want the song to be empowering and endearing, and I want it to be inspiring to people to know that there's greatness that you already hold. On the other hand, I do want to acknowledge that we do live in a world where, you know, sometimes situations are not safe. Sometimes people are not safe. They are damaging sometimes. You know, we're in the, you know, 33 trans women have been killed this year so far. And we're only in October, November, December. So 2 more months. At this rate, it could be 40 or 50. And that will be, as far as I can remember, the deadliest year on record. And last year was the deadliest year. It just becomes more deadly every single year. And so I wanted to acknowledge that in my songs, in the music, in parts of the song. And so in the song, A Girl Like Me, it's about like, I'm worthy of love. Can you see that? But by the other token, it also is about, it mentions and acknowledges that sometimes it feels like despite how great we are, we could be the first trans woman to originate a role on Broadway. We can be on the cover of Time magazine. We can be on all these things, and still we're getting killed out here in the streets and nobody's talking about it. And so I want to, those are 2 very terrible, those are 2 truths. And I needed to acknowledge both of them.
Oh, your love and light is so palpable. I want to be respectful of your time, but I have one more question. Is that okay?
Okay.
One last question. What piece of advice would you give to queer teens in high school right now?
Queer teens in high school, I think, band together and like march and be as queer and just as overtly obnoxious as you can in your queerness. I'm sorry, I'm here for it. I want you to let everybody know, don't shut up. Be loud and take up all that space. Be respectful of other people, but take up space and don't, you know, we are living in right now, obviously, in a world that is designed for people who want to operate in a different way. And so you utilize your queerness as that weapon. You knowing your queerness means that you've, again, done the work to figure out more about yourself than the people around you have done to figure out themselves. And that puts you in a position of power. So show it off.
Your generosity of time and spirit is so felt and so appreciated. The Future Perfect Project is so, I'm so grateful on behalf of the Future Perfect Project. And my last plug is just to please follow the Future Perfect Project. Please get involved. We represent queer youth, and we provide free arts programming to LGBTQ.
Free.
Please join us. Please join our family. Thank you for being a part of our family tonight, Peppermint. I'm so grateful. Thank you for hosting us and for working through all the technical difficulties. Your light and love is so felt, and I cannot wait to share more about your album with our young people. It's so beautiful, and the best to you. Have a beautiful rest of your evening.
V, thank you so much.
Love.
Bye.
Bye.